Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you the final section to the Three Towers in Chapter 3 of my Castlevania Night Difficulty video walkthrough. And as soon as you come into this section and you put the post into the wall to use the crank, this bastard, as sneaky as he is, climbs up onto this area and he will attack you. So make sure that you cancel out of the animation so you can fight him, because if you don't, he will kill you pretty quickly and you'll have to watch that stupid cutscene again. And yeah, just be aware of it, because he's caught me out a few times. But these guys really aren't that bad. If you're pretty good at sync blocking and you've fought them enough to know what attacks they're going to do, just watch them, just be patient, and just sync block them and beat them up, and you shouldn't have too much problems with them. And once again, it's just a case of moving around this place, collecting fairies, and in 10 minutes you're going to know where they all are, and you're also going to know perhaps not the fastest way to get to them, because I remember getting a little bit lost on this level when I replayed it, so I apologise about that. But it's not too challenging. It's just one of those things where it is obvious, it just can take a while to get back to where you want to be. And once again, because there's nothing really stimulating or different happening, that I need to report of, I'm going to talk a lot of shit. And leave a comment if you prefer me talking purely about the game, or you enjoy when I go off on little tangents that make hardly any sense and just generally involve me cursing up a storm about something that pisses me off or that I don't think is cool, or things that I really like, and I go on to show how homoerotic I can get at something that turns me on. But what I will talk about is the new season of South Park, which is a big yay for me, because I'm a massive South Park fan. I never stopped watching it when it became uncool, even though, there were some rough times when you thought it was going to get cancelled and things. I've seen every single episode of and I fucking love it. I am a massive South Park fan, big old buff on it. And the most recent season started with an episode called the Human Centipede, which is a nice little tech piece of Apple's iPad and the movie The Human Centipede. And the episode itself were pretty strong as far as an opener goes. It's not the best that they've ever done, and some of the jokes, do go on a little bit long and don't have that massive, infectious, roaring laughter that you can get with some episodes of South Park. But it's still a really solid episode, and I liked it a lot. And the stuff with Cartman when he's going to get that Toshiba handybook instead of the iPad because his mum's tight and he's just fucking spoiled, were really funny. And it just goes so far with this whole thing, because he keeps going off on these little spiels about how he'd like to get fed nice and dressed up in good clothes if he knew his mum was going to fuck him. And he takes it so far. He ends up on Dr. Phil, basically, because they think he's being abused by his mum. And they think his mum is a paedophile because he keeps going on about how she's trying to fuck him and pulling his pants down in Best Buy, asking his mum to fuck him and stuff. And it's really, really funny. But there's one bit that got me more than all of that, is when the audience are interacting with him. And there's that one guy that just chirps up and is like, "You didn't even kiss him when you fucked him." And then it cuts over to this other guy, and this other guy's like, "If I was going to fuck my son, I'd at least kiss him first." And then he leans down and kisses the kid, and it made me laugh so much. And then it does it again later on in the episode, and I was just in fucking tears. It's so funny. And there's another episode on as I speak, actually, tonight, airing in America, so I'll get it in like 4 hours later, which is about, I think Jimmy is doing a comedy show or something like that. So that should be, he's doing like the funniest kid in school awards or something. So I'm really looking forward to that, because I've got high hopes for this season, because the last one wasn't the strongest, but it still had some really fucking great episodes and some really, really good quotable lines, which is always good, because that whole, we don't fuck the earth, we DP it, is another one of those moments that I perhaps toned my stomach laughing, because I thought it was so fucking funny. It was really great. But yeah, new episodes of South Park, if you're not keeping up with it, check it out. That shit is so funny. Love it to death. And right now in the game, I've got 2 fairies, and I'm coming up here for the final one. And once we've done this level, we will be taking on our first, Emperor of Darkness or Lord of Shadows or whatever the fuck they're called. And he's not too bad, but he might make you see a few checkpoints, because it's pretty crazy like that. And Oh my goodness. I have the Game of Thrones on in the background on the TV, and I just looked up to see some burly looking dude with a plaited beard and plaited hair banging a white-haired bitch from behind. Full on doggy styling her. And that's the most interesting thing that's happened in this fucking series. And she's crying, so I'm not too sure if this is rape, consensual, or what. No, she's smiling. She's smiling. Feel slightly uncomfortable now. Fucking hell, where did that even come from? Has anybody noticed that recently with these programs on, I think they're all on Sky Atlantic, because the Boardwalk Empire, everybody in that program is fucking naked. And if they're not naked, they're gonna get naked. It seems to be like sexy's back in a really big way, and I'm all for, you know, being open and free when it comes to sexuality, because as far as, you know, movies and a lot of things go, we are pretty fucking neutered because of how, you know, vilified pornography is and things like that. But at the same time, it is kind of shocking to see it just because you don't see it that often. I think it's akin to when there's cursing on programs and you're not used to it, and it kind of shocks you a little bit. Which is cool to know that it still has that shock value, even though it is really diminished, especially if you're in my circle of friends, because we're all fucking, you know, we curse like sailors, we're perverted like, you know, something gone wrong. But, yeah, caught me by surprise anyway. Don't know if anybody's checked out Game of Thrones. I haven't personally, I just put it on for some background noise, but truth be told, it looks pretty fucking boring, and there's just a bunch of dudes wearing furs and pelts and talking. And it could be really stimulating, it could be really cool, but I haven't checked it out. What I have been checking out, though, is a binge fest of movies. And I went through a whole rom-com bunch, and Jesus Christ, the mechanics of the rom-com have changed, and they've changed for the worse. I don't know if there was a memo or something, but romantic comedies do not need to be 2 hours fucking long. They should be 1 hour, 24 minutes, no longer, and they should have a very definable purpose and a very predictable, you know, scheme of events. That's what they're all about. You put a rom-com on, you know exactly what's going to happen, you're just hoping for a nice little shock gag that makes your belly laugh. That's why you watch them. They're a guilty pleasure for some people. I'm not really bothered, but I'll watch anything. And the ones I've been watching have been 2 hours fucking long, they've had no point, they've not been funny, they've gone nowhere. In fact, one of them, I can't even remember its fucking name, but it's got Reese Witherspoon's in it, it's got Paul Judd in it, it's got fucking, oh, so many people in it, it's unbelievable. I saw it, it's got Jack Nicholson in it, Jack Nicholson! And the premise of the film is Paul Rudd is getting sued by the company that he works for, which is his dad's company, for something his dad has done illegally, and he wants him to take the fall for him because he's basically got no life and he's having a nervous breakdown. And on the flip side of this, you've got Reese Witherspoon, who is this really ditzy kind of, you know, mannish girl who cares about nothing but baseball, and she's having a casual, like, fuck buddy relationship with Owen Wilson, who doesn't appreciate her at all, aside from the fact that she's like a hole to fuck when he needs it. And it probably sounds, from what I've just told you, like something that could be complicated, complex and intriguing, but it's just garbage. It's just 2 hours of fucking garbage. It's not funny, it goes nowhere, it's unconventional, but in a bad way, which I've never really come across, because I love unconventional, you know, romantic comedies. Just look at 500 Days of Summer, just look at, you know, It's Kind of a Funny Story with Zach Galifianakis and that other dude who I don't know the name of. They're good films, good comedies. You know, if you're into that type of thing, good to watch with your girlfriend, because, you know, some girlfriends love that kind of stuff. But these films, oh, I wouldn't watch them if I was about to be fucking crucified and there was nothing better to do. I really wouldn't. Just garbage. I don't know the name of it, which is pretty bad for me, because I'm like an encyclopedia for films, but it's so shit it stained my memory. I would literally rather pour bleach in my eyes than fucking remember that film. But this fight right now is pretty challenging, but the only reason it's challenging is because you're fighting 3 of them at the same time, and at this moment of the game, it's so early on and you haven't had enough exposure to how they fight. Because I've played it before, I'm pretty comfortable with these guys, but when I first got here, I had a lot of trouble with these dudes, because they're not hard to fight, but when there's 3 of them, you have to watch what every single one of them's doing. And it's very easy to think that one of them's doing a blockable attack and it's unblockable and they hit you, and just, you know, getting caught out when you're you're not reacting fast enough. It's very simple to do. So the best advice for this one is to hit and run, and use your items if you have to. Use every single power to your ability. Make sure you're abusing the fact that once you get that focus bar at the bottom of the screen up, it constantly gives you essence so that you can always have abilities. The only reason I'm not using light magic and dark magic to make these fights faster and more enjoyable is because I couldn't play the game on Paladin difficulty. Do not penalise yourself like I am. There's no point, it'll just make it fucking boring. But once we've pulled this wall down, we're coming to the end of the video. The next one's going to be the boss fight with the first Lord of Shadow, so I will see you in that, and hopefully it's helping, hopefully you're enjoying it. Drop me a comment if you think I could improve on something or anything along those lines. But thanks for watching, and you take care.